I haven't seen the full context, but what I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person, and it's disgusting. And I hope every single one of those people who engage in violence is prosecuted to the full extent of the law. And they will be. They will be so long as law enforcement in the state of Ohio takes their job seriously. I know Dave Yost cares a lot about these things. But yeah, I actually, you're right. Birdie did send me a clip of this, and we talked a little bit about it. I don't know the full context. I don't know how the fight started. But the one part that I saw that was really gruesome is you had a grown man who sucker punched a middle-aged woman. And where I come from, at least, when you have a grown man who sucker punches a middle-aged woman, that person ought to go to jail for a very long time. And frankly, he's lucky there weren't some better people around, because they would have handled it themselves. But if they're not going to handle it, the cops in Cincinnati, the law enforcement, you've got to prosecute people. We've had way too much lawlessness on the streets of great American cities. How many of you all have wanted to go to downtown Akron or downtown Canton or downtown Columbus for a meal, but you're worried because the local authorities in these big cities have allowed lawlessness to run wild? We have got to make great American cities safe again for families and children. If you want to take your wife or your children out for a meal, you shouldn't be worried about street violence, and the only way to destroy that street violence is to take the thugs who engage in that violence and throw their ass in prison.
You sucker punch a motherfucker where I'm from, it's going to be a whole different outcome, especially if I'm there. You motherfuckers in Cincinnati are cowards, all y'all, and it runs several layers deep. First, it starts with the people who threw the first sucker punch and sucker punched people, including a woman, till they fell to the ground. And then when they fell to the ground because that first group of cowards couldn't stand toe-to-toe, face-to-face, a whole bunch of other motherfuckers thought they grew a pair and became emboldened because they were part of a group and took advantage of people that were confused, that had been sucker punched and were vulnerable on the ground, and decided to come in and start kicking and stomping and doing your shit. And then a whole other bunch of motherfuckers that were cowards stood around and watched it happen. Wouldn't defend somebody who was sucker punched. Wouldn't defend somebody who was in a vulnerable position. I don't give a fuck what happened. But you see shit like that, and you stand idly by? It tells me everything I need to know about your shitty-ass, low-class fucking city and the people who fucking live there. I'm sorry, but tell me I'm wrong. Cowards, all the way across the fucking board. You sucker punch a motherfucker where I'm from, it's going to be a whole different outcome, especially if I'm there. You motherfuckers in Cincinnati are cowards, all y'all, and it runs several layers deep. First, it starts with the people who threw the first sucker punch and sucker punched people, including a woman, till they fell to the ground. And then when they fell to the ground because that first group of cowards couldn't stand toe-to-toe, face-to-face, a whole bunch of other motherfuckers thought they grew a pair and became emboldened because they were part of a group and took advantage of people that were confused, that had been sucker punched and were vulnerable on the ground, and decided to come in and start kicking and stomping and doing your shit. And then a whole other bunch of motherfuckers that were cowards stood around and watched it happen. Wouldn't defend somebody who was sucker punched. Wouldn't defend somebody who was in a vulnerable position. I don't give a fuck what happened. But you see shit like that, and you stand idly by? It tells me everything I need to know about your shitty-ass, low-class fucking city and the people who fucking live there. I'm sorry, but tell me I'm wrong. Cowards, all the way across the fucking board. Sucker punch a motherfucker where I'm from, it's going to be a whole different outcome, especially if I'm there.
Your ass would have got stomped out too, or popped, slumped out in the streets. I don't know who you believe you are in your own mind, or you're like some equalizer or game changer, unless you're talking about pulling up with something. But I'm sure those people had switches, choppers, caters, oxtails, drumsticks, pistolas, rollos, things that could have let you know that you're not so special. Where's the video of you talking about those goddamn racist bikers who jumped the black guy in the tavern over some tab or bill or something? Now, you don't have one of those, now do you? Of course you don't, because you don't like black people. And that's fine, I can respect that. But don't sit up here acting as if you are some game changer, because you would have been laid out too. Alright? Take it easy.
First of all, that situation in Cincinnati, if it was vice versa, cities would fucking burn. And it also speaks volumes that you need 15 motherfuckers to beat down one white dude and his wife. The only people who behave like that do so out of fear. And you speak that we're going to learn our place in the fucking food chain? 13% is going to tell us where we sit in the fucking food chain. Everybody wants to act like white people are the problem. If white people were the problem, you'd fucking know it. And there's nothing you could do about it. Trust me, society sees where the problem is. And it's not white people. It's this ghetto fucking fatigue. So I'm telling you now, you need to stand down, quit acting like a good little puppet for the fucking government. Quit trying to start a race where you can't fucking win.
Not one time did I blame that mob for jumping on those folks, did I? No, I actually blamed the victim. I got people mad at me because I blamed the victim. You know why I didn't go so far as to blame the mob? It's because we know y'all act like that, right? And any American that's dumb enough to put themselves in a situation where they're surrounded by a bunch of people that act like fucking heathens, right? That act like animals. If you're dumb enough to try to support musicians of color and go to a big jazz festival or hang out in some neighborhood with a bunch of people that hate you, yeah, you're the idiot. You're the dumbass for going down there, right? You know, the difference between me and you is if somebody had slapped me, all of my friends wouldn't be needed to jump the guy that slapped me. And after I fought the person that slapped me, the very last thing in the world that would come to my mind would be to look around for some woman and knock her out also. Do you understand the difference? Right? You probably don't. You probably don't. But that's why I didn't blame you guys. That's why I didn't blame the mob for all the violence. Because I know that y'all don't fucking get it. It's in your culture. Yeah, you don't know how to behave. It's fine. I got you.
We have to talk about the Cincinnati brawl. And hear me out. Y'all going to want to listen the whole way through. Because there's a lot of misinformation that black folks just trample on these people for no reason. The videos that came out incriminated black folks really bad and made them appear really bad. Just, I don't know how any other words for it. It looked really bad. But after further research, like some of you guys just don't do, it comes to conclusion that that white man smacked the face of a black male, which that black male didn't respond the way he should and reacted to that smack. Someone else got involved, and that's how you have the whole crowd of people trampling on these people. And I'm not saying it's okay. The mob mentality, that whole jumping, no one agrees with that. That was actually brutal, hard to watch, especially what happened to that lady. I don't know how she ended up on the floor unconscious, but it happened. But the man should have known to keep his hands to his damn self. And then you have J.D. Vance and all these people enabling that white man for being a victim. They're enabling him to be a victim when he's clearly wasn't a victim. He started it, but sure enough, the people around there finished it. I'm tired of this shit that I hear people starting stuff and then they want to play victim at the end. And then you have public officials, you have political individuals, you have the vice president defending those white folks and even reaching out to them, enabling them with their victim behavior when they're clearly the ones who started it. And what I'm pissed off most about it is that nobody is talking about what started the verbal altercation to begin with. That's what pisses me off. But you have all these officials, all these people that are supposed to be leaders, defending victim mentality and blaming it on the black folks and wanting them to be arrested. You know, two wrongs don't make a right. But keeping your hands to yourself is very important, because this is all could have been avoided if that man practiced what they normally preach and just simply walk away. I don't get it. I don't get how black folks are the ones that are appearing bad in this situation. It was out of context, so first videos that came out. But when you see what happened at the very beginning, when that man smacked the face of that black male, which he should have reacted, but he didn't. He stepped away, and someone took his place, and a bunch of people handle the situation, which was wrong. We need, from our actual leaders, to hold everyone accountable. That's what actual leaders do, is hold everybody accountable. The people that trampled those people and the person that actually started the altercation to begin with. With that being said, like this video, comment, let me know what you guys think, and as always, follow me.
Get him, Puffy Lion, dog.